My name is Eli Carson. I no longer travel by train. I no longer believe in chance. This is why. It was the fall of 2014. The Lakeshore Limited, cutting through the Berkshires at dusk. I'd taken the quiet car, my sanctuary. But when I found my seat, it was already taken. A man, curled against the window. Middle-aged. Faded denim jacket. On the back a symbol, a circle, and inside it, a skeletal tree, roots spilling out like veins. But it was the smell that hit me first. Not decay. Something older. Crushed leaves from a sunless place. Burnt parchment. And underneath, the cloying sweetness of funeral lilies. "Excuse me," I said. "That's my seat." He didn't move. I reached to tap his shoulder. His eyes opened. Tarnished copper. No sleep in them. None. He smiled, a slow, cracked thing. "Boy," he whispered, voice like gravel in a tin. "This seat's taken. Find another." A coldness poured off him. My anger spiked, sharp, sudden, hot. The lights dimmed. My pulse roared in my ears. I started arguing, voice rising, trembling. He just watched, smiling. Then, low enough that only I heard, "Sit down, little flame, before you burn out," my vision tunneled. The world tilted. Until the conductor caught my arm. The man was fined. Wrong ticket. But as they wrote the citation, he never looked at them. Only at me. His gaze was a hook. Set deep. He moved to the floor across the aisle. And for the rest of the night, he watched. Every time I jerked awake, his copper eyes were waiting. His right hand buried in a small leather satchel at his hip. Fingers moving inside, tracing circles. Lips shaping silent words that made my teeth ache. Once when he shifted, I saw inside. Not beads. Small pale knuckle bones strung together. Dark feathers bound with hair. The train's rhythm became a chant. The darkness outside the window felt alive, pressing close, curious. By dawn, I was a ghost. He vanished before the train fully stopped, into the steam and shadows of Back Bay Station. But the chill stayed with me. In my apartment, the silence changed. It listened. The floorboards didn't creak, they exhaled. The radiator didn't hiss, it whispered. That night, the migraine hit. A vice behind the eyes. I collapsed at work. My friend David drove me home. At dusk, the apartment turned. The walls breathed. I saw the wallpaper swell and settle like lungs. From the bathroom, a wet sound, pages turning over and over. And the cold, deep marrow cold. Worst of all, when I closed my eyes, I saw him. Not on the train. Here. In the corner of my room. Cross-legged. Hand in that bag. Smiling as he chanted my world into something else. David came back. Skeptic with a baseball bat. We were in the living room when the bathroom door slammed shut from the inside. The walls shook. We ran. At David's bright, modern condo, the pressure lifted. The whispering stopped. I slept. But I knew I couldn't stay. I took emergency leave. Caught the first train back to Vermont. To my family. To solid ground. The journey was a blur of dread. A weight on my back. Frost on my neck. My mother took one look at me, sunken eyes, shaking hands, and said, "We're going to see Pastor James." Pastor James was my great-uncle. ministered in Appalachia years ago. He spoke of the older stains on the world. That night, the presence introduced itself to everyone. My parents woke to chanting, my voice layered with something guttural, ancient, coming from my room. They found me in the corner, staring at the ceiling, mouth twisting around words that shouldn't exist. I remember none of it. Then their bed scraped violently across the floor, by itself. We drove through the night to Pastor James's house near the woods. He met us at the door, grave in the porch light. Didn't invite us in. He looked straight at me. "Eli," he said, "what did you bring back with you?" In his spare room, under a simple wooden cross, he laid out everything I'd carried from Boston. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, my leather briefcase, a gift from my father. He turned the briefcase over, ran his hands along the seams, paused near the bottom. With a penknife, he made a careful slit in the lining, and pulled out a small black velvet pouch, cold to the touch. He loosened the drawstring, tipped the contents onto his oak desk. 3 dried, mummified frogs bound with black thread, a lock of coarse gray hair, a sliver of bone carved with that same sigil, the skeletal tree, and a folded slip of paper. On it, in rust-brown ink, one word, FREE. "It's not a curse for you," Pastor James said, voice hollow. "It's a petition. A request for something to be unleashed." He looked up, eyes heavy. "He used your anger on that train as a signature. Your pride. Your fury." It was the ink, a pause. The words fell like stones. "He's not haunting you, son. He's been using you as a door. And you've been carrying the key." The ritual wasn't from any scripture I knew. Pastor James spoke in an ancient, commanding tongue. Used salt, oil from an unlabeled vial, a prayer that sounded less like a plea, more like a negotiation, a confrontation. We burned the pouch in a cast-iron bowl in his backyard. The fire burned sickly green. The smoke didn't rise, it coiled, writhed on the ground, dissolved with a sound like a sigh. The relief was immediate. The weight lifted. The chill vanished. I wept from exhaustion. I stayed with him a week. We prayed, not rote prayers, but prayers of closing, sealing, claiming back a name offered up to something hungry. Before I left, he gave me a smooth river stone. "Faith isn't always a shield, Eli," he said. "Sometimes it's just an anchor, to remind you what world you belong to. Carry this." Remember, I returned to Boston, moved, changed my routine. The memory of the man with the copper eyes faded, but never fully left. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Last Tuesday, a parcel arrived at my new office. No return address. Inside, a small familiar leather satchel. Empty. And a note typed on an old manual typewriter. "The door you opened is still ajar. Others have peered through. The tree has many roots. It remembers your name, a fellow traveler." This was not a ghost story. It was a receipt. The most dangerous evil doesn't always seek to destroy you. Sometimes it just needs your signature. It feeds on your heat, your passion, your righteous anger, and turns your own soul into a welcome mat. So listen. If you ever feel a rage that seems to come from outside yourself, if a stranger's smile feels like a key turning in a lock you never knew you had, walk away. Pray. Cling to your anchor. Some curses aren't cast upon you. You help write them yourself. Your truth becomes our tale. Until next time, may your anchors hold. May your name be your own.